my dear friends, Namaste. Welcome in the new episode of Spiritual Talks. I'm Kavita, and today guess who is with me? Again, Shakahara Ji from Delhi. In previous program, we got tremendous response, and he's a bioenergy healer. He's a Himalayan yogi. So, Yash Ji, welcome in this show again.
Thanks, Kavita. Thank you, PMC. Thank you so much for me to be here.
So friends, we are going to discuss on human relationship, which is very close to our heart. So without taking much time, so Yash, what do you think about human relationship?
So first of all, when we use the word relationship, that itself is a big perspective, because relationship can be with animals, plants, nature, even non-living things, if you say them as non-living. Because if you see the theories of relativity and everything, it shows that everything is moving, everything is vibrating. So there's resonance, movement in atoms, electrons, protons. So everything has a level of activity and movement and life. But okay, we see living things first. So in living things, you can have relationships with them, the emotional quotient, the response. And human beings, being one of the most evolved creations of God, has another level of dimension. It's very simple yet very complex at times. So human relationships go very close to the concept of spirituality. In fact, when we use the word spirituality, its prime applications initially would be in your human relationships.
Right.
At initial beginning stages, you will be tested against your human relationships, be it with your parents, be it with your siblings, close friends, acquaintances, peers, professional acumens, whatnot. So your human relationships are the test, the litmus test of your spiritual growth. So as you grow well, as you grow good, you will see that your relationship will start getting efficient. You will be starting to drive them in a very beautiful manner. वो जो we say in Hindi that जो कहानी खत्म ना कर सको उसको खूबसूरत मोड़ दे सकते हो. So more like that, not every relationship is in your control, but definitely you can do a much better if you have spiritual perspective, a spiritual acumen inside you, and you can really grow well in human relationships, which includes the romantic love relationships as well as the other kind of love relationship like you have with your parents, your teachers, your family. So every kind of relationship will get impacted if your spiritual quotient is high. So spirituality yet again is very much in use as far as relationships are concerned. That's why I say that the prime principle of spirituality revolves around yoga. Yoga actually is the word, but okay, yoga. The word yoga itself means jurna, which is connection.
Connection. Yeah.
So human relationship again is about connection. So the prime application of spirituality will be tested in your connection, first with human relationships and then with nature and otherwise.
So what are the differences between spiritualism and culturism?
So before telling the difference between spirituality and culturism, you very well hinted, let me tell the similarity between both of them.
Okay.
So the similarity between culture and spirituality is the following of certain practices. I call it redundancy. Redundancy creates reliability. If you do something again and again, your reliance, the reliability on this will increase.
Right.
Any process you repeat, if you are doing any kind of physical exercises or mental exercises or any kind of research, the more you repeat it, you will see your accuracy will get better and better.
True.
So it's definitely helping you in that way. So the similarity between spirituality and culture is the repetition of a pattern. So like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, he emphasizes the importance of abhyas yoga. So basically by repetition of certain things, obviously it will get better. So this is what's happening here also. When you repeat something, it gets better. This is the common overlap between any spiritual practice and any kind of culture.
Okay.
Anywhere in the world. So the common part is the repetition part.
Right.
Now we come on the difference. So culture is a set of pattern. It's like if someone is following a culture or a group of people are following a culture, they all will be doing the same kind of thing. Very similar to each other. Whereas in spirituality, it includes a lot of diversity, I can say. Like I can say the unity in diversity kind of concept here. So spirituality will include certain ways which are in a particular culture as well as certain things which are in some other culture. Because spirituality is more concerned with the end product. I'll give a very practical example instead of making it theoretical. Suppose there's a swimming pool and you want to take a swim in the pool. So you can approach the swimming pool from north or someone can approach from south or east or west. But the test would be that how deep you enter the swimming pool.
True. Yep.
So each direction can form a culture. So approach from north can be one culture, approach from south can be another, same for east and west. But how deep you enter the spirituality is how deep you enter the pool. So this is a very common example I quote because I find it very easy to understand. That it's not about which direction you take initially to enter that stream, it's about how deep you entered that stream. Now what starts happening, the great masters or the great I can say the experts of each culture say their way is the best. So someone who approaches from north says that entering the swimming pool from north is best.
Yeah,
And
based on their own
based
experience.
on their own experience, and
Yeah.
they're not wrong, they're completely right.
True.
And someone from south will say that no, south is the best, same for east, same for west. So this becomes like each have gone through their journey, what they're saying is true as per their own experience, but because the experience is individual, the scope is again partial. So this is what's happening. However, spirituality will include all the ways. For spirituality, the process is important, but the product is the main thing.
Right. Yeah. Very, very truly you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does spirituality and culturism also affect our human relationship?
Definitely yes. First of all, you have to understand these words. So, culturism means repetition of certain acts.
Okay.
When you do something again and again, we call it a culture.
Right.
It can be culture based on some kind of study, it can be some culture based on some kind of plantation, lot of sciences also. But when you use the word culture, you mean a process, basically a set of processes repeated again and again form a culture. So in our society also there is a culture, we see their cultural programs, so there will always be a theme whenever there is a culture.
Right.
So similarly, I can say that culture is a small subset of spirituality, because certain culture give focus, give impact on certain set of processes to be followed, whereas spirituality is sum total of all these cultures. So it will touch each and every culture yet have its own unique value. So every culture has certain portion of spirituality in them, and hence it's a very beautiful resonance between culture and spirituality. So yes, culture has a huge impact on spirituality and vice versa.
So it's not one-sided.
It's definitely not one sided. First of all, nothing in this world is one sided. We have to see how the creation is. The creation itself has effect of opposite forces, day and night, happiness and sadness, good and bad. Everything is in a balance. So in the world, everywhere there is opposite forces, and opposite forces complete a loop. They create a circle. So similarly, anything in this world will always have a loop, a completion by itself. So yes, again culture and spirituality together form a loop. It completes itself.
So here I want to understand, does religion also connected with culturism, and what are the connection between spiritualism and religion?
So religion is even a more broader set of culturism, I can say.
Okay.
When you say religion, you bring a faith of a tremendous high volume of individuals, each one adding to the experience and hence creating a multiverse. It's not universe, it's like a multiverse, which means religion is a very big set of superset of culturism, or you can say culturism is a small subset of religion. Spirituality is like a neutral point which takes in consideration all of them yet not belonging to any one of them. So religion will take a set of patterns, a set of procedures, a set of processes, a set of icons. All these are like technical terms they use. A set of traditions, a set of habits, a set of timelines. They will include a set of lot of things, including effect on your, I can see the faculties of senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, sound. They all will be arranged in such a way to give to a birth to a set of religion which everybody will follow in their own interest, and which is good, very good for them.
Yeah.
However, spirituality remains a sublime force as a witness to all of these, some part of it getting touched in all of them, yet spirituality remains a superset of all of it always. So spirituality is like the canvas, and on which you can draw your own set of creations. So that's what's happening if you see the connection between all these three terms. Interestingly, all three are right. All three have a high degree of spiritual growth. Look, I always say purpose of life is in spiritual growth and
Right.
enjoyment. So the spiritual growth part is covered by following culturalism, by following your religion, by following your spiritual path. My being spiritual doesn't make a person who is not not being spiritual as not functional if he or she is following their own culture or religion properly. If they're following their culture and religion properly, they're as spiritual as anybody else.
True, true.
So it's like a very coexistence, mutual coexistence philosophy. It's more concerned with your own honesty towards your own self. Your only judge, the only person who can judge you is yourself. When you compare yourself with your previous day's practice or the previous session's practice to this practice, whatever be your practice, it's very personal. Only you can tell how well, how deep you're entering in your own path.
Right. So how one can, increase the broader sense of understanding towards all these things, because a lot of people, they are, they're following blindly, and a lot of wrong happenings are happening in the society. So what do you say about that?
Look, first of all, understand, now I am bringing great respect to all the religion and spirituality and culturalism, yet I am bringing on the dais the concept of science. First of all, anything you don't understand, you will have to have faith. So let's give the free space to this discussion on spirituality, culturalism and religion. See science. How many people know how to operate a telescope? How many people can design a telescope? Very small percentage, but we use it.
True.
You can say, but everybody doesn't need to use a telescope.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cell phone. How many of us actually know how a cell phone functions, apart from the basic procedure of, playing on it, using it, as well as talking on it? How a cell phone exactly functions, the layers within a cell phone, there are 5-6 layers within a cell phone. It's a great machine.
Yeah.
How many of us can create a cell phone? Hardly, I think hardly 1% of human population can create a cell phone, but yet we are using it. But when we press the button to pick up the call, we have faith that it will work.
Right. Yeah.
It's more like when we are taking one step on the ground, we have faith that the ground will not go inside. Our foot will not go inside the ground. So you see the faith, the element of faith. So a lot of people who are scientific bent of mind, who call themselves so spiritual, they tell me, oh, religious is not, that scientific because they are operating on faith. We are not operating on faith. No. Anything which you don't understand, you will have to have faith. How a camera functions, for me it's faith. Whatever I don't know, I will have to have faith. That's why there was a very good movie of Devanand. He's one of my favorite stars. I think my favorite, obviously. There's a movie called Guide. In that movie, he says, there's a question to him that how do you think that you are fasting for so long and can create rain? And he says that all these people are praying, so they have faith on me and I have faith on their faith. It's like resonance.
So beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, whatever we don't understand, we need to have faith. If in the car there are 4 people sitting, one is the driver, or the other 3, if they don't know driving, they will have to have the faith that the guy is driving well. And even if they know how to drive, still they will have to have faith that the guy is driving well.
There's no option to.
There's no option, right? He's in the driving seat.
Yeah.
So there's a very good movie called No Man's Land. I don't know if you guys have heard. So Indian movie Lagan, when it lost to No Man's Land. So in that movie, there's a sequence like this on the faith angle also.
Okay.
So basically, you have to have faith. You have to have faith on whatever is in your life. What you can understand, please understand.
Right.
Please improvise. But there will be a level when your improvisation and everything will end. Not because you're not talented, but because you don't have enough time.
Right.
The actual challenge in this world is not growth. The actual challenge in this world is time management.
Very true. Please throw some light on time management.
Look, one thing I have seen common in all the great people of so-called spiritual world and materialistic world. First of all, for me, these two worlds are not separate.
True. Yeah.
I can say both worlds are connected, but in spiritual world, you are more conscious about nature, sensitivity of emotions and growth. And so-called materialistic world, you are less conscious and less aware, less bothered about these aspects. So in both these aspects of materialism and spirituality, I see all the icons, all the great figures, they are extremely strict on time management. There has been a situation in my life where I was late for a training session by 1 minute, and I was scolded for 15 minutes.
Oh My God.
And after that, I was never late for that kind of session ever in my life. So my point is that we have to definitely improve on time management. That's one thing, one lesson, like a request I would like to give to all the viewers, that if you want to improve in anything in life, you can't be casual with your time. There have been rulers, very good rulers who have been great about it. Alexander used to reach his battlefield few days before his opponents, and there are a lot of other examples also. I have seen in Northeast they are very focused on time. In Japanese culture, very focused on time. In very civilized society, very high consciousness of time. I have worked a lot in these for Western countries, and I noticed one thing they don't tolerate is you being late in any meeting, because they think that if you are late in their meeting, you don't respect their time. It's not about the meeting, it's about the respect shown to each other.
True.
So time management is a very strong example. You can say, okay, you're talking about the modern world, what about the ancient time? Okay, you see Mahabharata. So a lot of people know that there was a huge competition initially between Arjun and Ashwatthama. So this example is about Mahabharata. So Ashwatthama wanted to learn something extra compared to Arjun. But Arjun was very fast. He used to be literally everywhere. Like his time management was exceptional. And Drona wanted to help Ashwatthama, but basically there was no chance because Arjun was doing everything very properly.
Right.
So then what he does, he finds a particular vessel whose neck is more broader than the other vessels by 4.5 to 5 times. Now what happens, all the other children including Kauravas and Pandavas are going, and their morning duty is to take bath, get ready and bring water for the Gurukul.
Right.
So each of them bring, but Ashwatthama has got this special vessel which is whose neck is wider than others, so he takes lesser time by around 9 to 10 minutes in the modern timelines if I'm converting. By that 9.5-10 minutes every day of practice, over the years he learnt Narayan Astra, which that time Arjun was not knowing in the war, which he uses in the war once Dronacharya is not there. So this is a beautiful example how well they were using the time management concepts at that time also. There are many examples, but this one I am relating because both of these heroes, both Arjun and Ashwatthama, are very known, and also Ashwatthama is one of the Chiranjeevis. They are one of the immortals. You can say that, okay, immortal is again like a fictional story. I say no, immortals are those people who medically can increase the number of brain cells by substantial level.
How it works actually? Could you please explain it
So
more?
basically in human body, brain cells are the master cells. They are
Right.
converting, controlling everything.
Right.
But they are decreasing every passing day.
Right.
Now if by some method you can increase it, I am not saying the method is known, then you can change the way things are going in your body.
Yeah.
So whatever we are practicing in the day-to-day life, it all connects to brain cells. If there are two individuals of same age, the one being more healthier and being more younger would always have a substantial higher percentage of brain cells.
Right.
Your brain cells are the prime marking for everything in this world.
So that's why like children or kids, they are more when they are more receptive, more active, they learn very fast and their brain cells also work very fast. But when we grown up, when we practice in a certain way, when we don't practice or when we don't try something new, our brain cells also doesn't work.
So brain cells have one friend, which is stillness. The more still you are, more relaxed you are, you're better. Even for doing a great act, to act very properly, you have to be very well relaxed and rested.
So what do you say about kids? Because they are not still or they are not calm, still their brain cells are.
You are not seeing them in complete sense. You are only seeing them in their activity period.
Right.
On the contrary, when they are sleeping, they are much more still than an average person.
Very true.
See the whole cycle in the whole day.
Yes.
They have that extra energy because of their sleep. When a child is resting, it's totally resting. You see certain things we have to learn from animals, and also we have to learn from children. Whatever they are doing, they are very original. They are doing it with full heart and all the energy and consciousness.
They are always in present.
In the present moment.
Yeah.
So what is happening when they are playing very high. When they are enjoying very high. When they are relaxing, they are totally relaxing. Normal adults, when they are relaxing, they are thinking, oh, what work was left in the office, How could that person tell me that? How could my ego be treated in this way? And all this self-identification thing. What is ego is same as self-identification. So we are disturbing the energy of the brain and the mind too much by all these things, and hence we are not that relaxed. So in our relaxing time, we are thinking. In our thinking time, we are relaxing. So neither we are relaxing properly, neither we are thinking properly. We are too muggled. That's why sports is so good. I really tell people to go into sports, because when you are in sports, you have to be focused. You can't be in a football match and just keep thinking of something else. You can't be in a cricket match and not be conscious of what the score is, right? So when you're playing any kind of sports, and not only cricket and football, any sport, be it swimming, be it volleyball, or even chess, whatever you're playing, you have to be very, very focused. Chess, in fact, requires a lot of focus. So my point is that whatever you're doing, you have to do it properly. First, create compartmentalization of time management. And once you have enough time, then you can follow something. So here the concept of, if you see any sincere religious person of any religion will be doing their practices properly. If a Muslim person is there, would be doing their namaz properly. If a Hindu guy is there, he's doing his prayers properly, or whatever practices properly. Same for Buddhism and same for every other religion. So whatever you are doing, you should do it properly. The comparison is about your punctuality, your sincerity, and then you see that you start improving. If your product is good, the process has been good. You can't have a very good product and a very bad process. Like in the manufacturing system, you can't have a very bad process system and expect to create a very good product. So it's like that. You have to gradually improvise yourself, and you will see that things improve. So here's the point where everything matches. There's a resonance between everything. First is time management, and then everything else falls in place.
So it's more on about discipline.
You can't be indisciplined and say that you are very spiritual. One thing I find a great excuse, that people are very lazy and they tell, oh, we are very spiritual. It's not like that. You can say, oh, well, the yogis in the Himalayas and all, they are looking so still, they must be relaxing. They are working mentally at a speed you can't even imagine. Their control and their consciousness of their body parts, brain, liver, kidney, lungs, heart, is extremely high. They are aware to such a high degree that it's not even possible for someone to imagine, unless you have experienced something like that. So my point is that don't judge a book by its cover. First, try to understand time management. That is something very visible to everyone. If you have more time, you will be able to achieve more in life. And after time management comes your own chosen direction, your choice, your free will, and whatever direction you have chosen, just improve in that. And when you improve in that, you will see their icons coming to you. Once you conquer a peak, then you see a higher peak. You can't conquer nothing and say, oh, why is the topmost peak not coming to me? It's like a very famous show, Kaun Banega Crorepati. I can't ask Amitabh Bachchan, is a very senior person. I can't ask him, oh, please ask me the last question and give me the money. It's like a step-by-step process. You go from first to second to third to fourth. So it's like the process in everything.
So there is no shortcut.
There is no shortcuts. I very strongly believe there is no shortcut. But if you take shortcut and you have managed it somehow, trust me, at some point of life or death, the real challenge will again come to you, because you know and God knows that you have taken a shortcut.
Very true. Yeah. So beautifully you have mentioned about this shortcut. Yeah.
No, not that I have not taken shortcuts. In my training, I have also in Himalayas taken shortcuts, but it gives results. If you are sharp enough, your shortcut will give result for a small time.
Right.
But gradually at some stage, that shortcut which you have taken will let your skill be of a mediocre level compared to an excellent level. So there will be a cost of taking the shortcut.
So there is a cost for each and every shortcut.
Yes. Every shortcut has a cost. So if you are happy with that, it's okay. If suppose there's an examination going on and you cheat and you get good marks, but the other part of the story is you have not understood the subject properly.
Very true.
So if you become a doctor or engineer through that process, if a real surgery comes where someone important has to be operated, you would not like to do the operation. You would like some other doctor who has not taken a shortcut to do the operation.
Yeah.
So yourself knows that you got defeated at that point. So that's the cost of a shortcut.
So here is like theory and practical both should be managed well.
Yeah, as we say, walk the talk.
So here I'm getting more curious. I want to understand, can all these things stay together and can they coexist?
Yeah, if you see, everything is coexisting. If you see in a forest, okay, we say jungle Raj, okay, in the jungle also all the opposite forces are coexisting,
Yeah.
right? There's a tiger, there's a lion, there's like many of tigers and lions, and there's also deer and other herbivorous animals. They coexist. So similarly, when in a non-ordered system like a jungle, which is actually not non-ordered, we feel it's non-ordered, it's very beautifully symbiotically arranged. But in every arrangement, even in society, in ordered system, civilized society, every opposite forces can coexist. That's what democracy is about. That's what India is about. India is amazing in this way that people of such contrast, perspective and viewpoints exist so well. You can tell me, oh, sometimes there are problems, yeah, but all the other times there are no problems. It's more like, at some point of time we will die. That's true, but all the other times we lived.
Yeah.
So you see, if you see the way India functions, I'm so amazed. I really like the way the Indian systems are. You can say, oh, a lot of people say no, it's not. No, there's a lot of such a great beauty in India. I have seen. I have been to New York. I've been to US. I see this such a heavy presence of police on the roads. In India, there's such a high amount of population. If you see any typical district or city of India, the amount of population and the level of police personnels, and with such a little police personnel, such a huge city is maintained and everything is relatively so okay compared to the crime rates of US. I feel India is doing quite well with such a limited amount of police protection and everything, which shows that India is doing amazing. Lot of things which are happening are so good in India because we are getting it so easily. So we think, oh, there's nothing so great. There's a beautiful arrangement going on in India so well. Lot of things are happening at such a little amount of price of money. You can travel so well. Traveling is so expensive in Europe and US. My brothers and sisters there know this so well. It's so expensive. You can stay with little money in India and travel so well. Indian communication system, Indian transportation, Indian cell phone rates, the cost of talking on phone, so little in India. So India travel is very easy, food is very easy, transportation, communication, there's so many things so good. And when you travel out of India, then you realize what's the greatness of India.
Yeah.
And in that, one of them is the diversity. There's so much, I've seen so much love in people of different religions, of different culture, and even the parts of India. Like, it's beautiful. I appreciate it too much.
So yes, like you said very rightly, we must acknowledge and appreciate whatever we have. We should understand all these things because as you mentioned about foreign countries, and here the way we are managing, it's really wonderful. And when we don't understand all these things, we always have grievances.
Yeah. Look, understand happiness is very different from success. Success and money are very, very strongly connected. Happiness is not. I have seen some of the most richest people in the world whom I have met very, very sad. And I've seen such simple people, some very poor, children and all so happy. Even people so happy. So my point is, if you want to be happy, see India. A lot of people have so less, still they are so happy. I'm not saying there are other countries who are very high on happiness index like Bhutan and all. With due credit to them, yes. But India is not doing bad that way. A lot of things in India are available at very well. Government has done a lot of good work in a lot of departments. I have been seeing that, and not only me, other tourists, individuals who come from other countries, they tell me that they see, for them coming to India is like an adventure. Don't forget, you are coming to a country which is relatively doing very good economically as well as a great past.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of enjoyment in reading a good story. There's a lot of enjoyment in reading history. And India's history is great. And India presently is doing very good. We are in a win-win situation from every angle. So why not? It's just like the perspective, You are seeing
Yes.
something negative. Obviously, no system is perfect. Tell me one country which is doing perfect. Nothing can be perfect. The universe is not designed in that way. There are a lot of good things everywhere, but your perspective is very important. That's why I said glass half full. There is always opposite forces in the world. You can say, okay, give me examples in the divine system. You see Lord Shiva. In Lord Shiva's household, there is a Nandi, there is goddess Parvati's tiger, a lion, and then there is a mouse, and there's a snake, right? And there's a peacock also. Karthik is,
Yes.
About the moving vehicle is peacock. So you see, aren't they opposite forces? And they're all together. That's why God is there. So in India, definitely there's a huge blessing of God, because you see all the opposite forces who think differently yet are needed. Look, that's one of the reasons why India was so strong, why India became independent, because there's not just one system here. It's a multiverse.
Right.
And that diversity is India's biggest strength, because you need every kind of individual, everyone has a role. So it's very good that we have different kind of people who think differently. Just that they should respect each other's way of thinking, each other's perspective, and that's what makes India great. Such a young, vibrant India.
Right, very true, very true. And with this diversities only we grow very fast, we understand in broader way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we started our interview with relationships, here I want to understand, or I personally think that our relationships are always complicated, right? So what is your perspective? How do you think? How do you see all these things? Are these really simple, complex, or complicated?
Look, all these three different words, simple, complex, and complicated, are based on the reference of understanding. So anything you understand is simple, anything you don't understand is complicated.
Right.
Let's see the example of satellite. The way a rocket puts a satellite in the space in a particular orbit, for me it's definitely complex, may not be complicated, because I've done engineering, so I understand. But for a lot of people it will be complex or complicated. But for a scientist belonging to some space agency of any country, not simple but definitely understandable to a much higher degree than anybody else. So your understanding is the center theme which makes something simple, complex, or complicated. Same for human relationships. Anybody who understands the intricacy of a human relationship, for them dealing with that particular thing or person or situation will be much more easier and definitely simpler. So nothing is simple, complex, or complicated permanently. Your position of understanding will make it different.
Right.
And this is in sports, this is in relationships, even with humans as well as animals. If I know how to work with a dog, it's simple for me. But for me, if I know how to work with dog, working with a cat may not be simple, because it's a different, completely different rhythm.
Right.
Same in martial arts. For someone jumping 4 feet wall will be very tough, but for an expert in martial arts, very easy. So my point is that again, the understanding of the game, and when I say understanding, I don't mean only intellectual memory, I mean cellular memory. This is a point which is different. Just reading a book on swimming will not make me an expert swimmer. Similarly, just intellectual memory is not good enough. It's good but not good enough.
Right.
So similarly, if you start understanding something and just try to understand gradually, you understand. Something may be very difficult, but you will get to understand. There are examples, lokunktis and muhavras in India, which shows that if you keep rubbing a rope over a particular stone, the stone also gets some marks.
Yes.
So that way, if you keep practicing, if you keep trying, you will definitely get to it. The speed may be different. That's where you need a teacher. That's where you need an expert. But even if you are just trying, you will definitely improve to a certain degree. So that's why I said every saint had a past, every sinner has a future. So that's why don't judge anyone, because everybody has gone through a lot in their journey. It's a very long journey. And just help yourself and help others.
Right. So beautiful. Here, what you want to say about different relationships? See, people are suffering a lot, right? In marriages or in love relationship. So, can we resolve all these things on a positive note?
Look, I will tell you a very typical example with a bit of humor. Have you seen any two individuals fighting? Not only romantic ones, non-romantic ones as well. You will see whenever two individuals are fighting, they will repeat one line. तुमको समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Which in English would be, are you understanding what I am telling you? Every two guys or a group of individuals who are fighting will say this.
Right, yeah.
That means the problem is not the actual issue. The problem is they're not understanding what is the matter.
Right.
So
yeah.
anything can be resolved if you are understanding the other person's perspective. So just by understanding the parties involved, get into a position of solving a problem.
So what one should do when fight is happening, or when in anger, how we should react, how we should respond?
Look, obviously it's a unique journey, but I said the first point is understanding. But after understanding also, the fight may not complete, may not end. You know why? After understanding comes the question of intention, which in Hindi would be niyat.
Right.
So maybe I understand the position, the other person also understands the position, but नहीं करना, बात नहीं माननी है. Maybe I can have that perspective and maybe the person can have the perspective. अब यहाँ both parties are understanding the point. So both the parties here understand the situation, but the intention is not to resolve. Now this is a bigger challenge.
Right. Yeah.
Now once you understand and you don't want to resolve, then to it's like, I just don't want to resolve, that's it.
Yeah, it's like ego comes here.
That's
right?
ego. That's ego, and that's not so simple to understand. Ego is basically self-identification. It's sum total of all your experiences in your life. So there is a very good old movie in India called Ek Ruka Hua Faisla. It's an old movie, so a lot of youngsters don't know about this movie, but it shows about this perspective that how there's a jury and nearly everybody is convinced that this guy has done the wrong, and there's one guy who doesn't believe in that. He's like open-minded, and as the movie progresses, they realize that, oh, this guy is actually not done anything wrong. Just the bias of the every individual creates that perception. That's why I say perception can create reality.
Right. Yeah.
So we are biased to think that we are right and they are wrong. That's why I always say, मेरे सही होने से कोई गलत नहीं हो जाता. Just by my being right doesn't make other person wrong. Perspective है, वो जो एक है कि मेरे पोजीशन से 6 नजर आ रहा है, उनके पोजीशन 9 नजर आ रहा है.
Very true.
ना उनका दोष ना मेरा दोष. Perspective. If you see the war of Mahabharata, I always refer Mahabharata because I love that whole experience of it. It's a living legend that everybody is doing dharma. Tell me one person in Mahabharata who is not following dharma, including Duryodhana. Duryodhana's perspective is that I am the Jesh son's Jesh son. So I am the previous unargumented king's elder son. So I should get the throne. Pandavas say that no. When that was happening, then Dhritarashtra was the Pratinidhi. As the elder son is Yudhishthir, who is elder to Duryodhana, hence he is the. And then the popular belief. So my point is, Bhishma is doing his role. Drona, Karna, Ashwathama, Abhimanyu, everybody, even Dushasana is doing what his elder brother is saying. So everybody has put their faith in a certain person or principle. Right. The difference is on the person or principle. So everybody is doing what they feel. This is happening in the everyday life of ours. Everybody is doing what they feel is right. But then to arrive a consensus, that creates strength. That's why I say power increases by connection, not by disconnection. That's why yoga is so powerful. By yoga, you learn to connect. You're not disconnecting, you're connecting. If suppose I am telling to someone that don't take toxic substances or don't drink or don't smoke, what am I getting out of that? What is my gain? Nothing. In fact, I will be getting their negativity at that point of time. Nobody likes to be corrected. So, but still saying that is right. That's the thing which is right, so I should do.
Yeah.
You should do right not because others will agree to you. You should do right because that's the right thing to do. There may be a situation where you are in a group where nobody is doing right and nobody agrees to do right, still you do right because maybe you are the only representation of right at that point.
So it's all about dharma.
Yeah. Maybe you will not get result.
Yeah.
That's possible. But कुछ मिले ना मिले अलग बात है, कोशिश नहीं की ये गलत बात है. So you may get results, but you did your best or not.
Yeah. True. So it's a great conversation with you, Yash Shekharji. Here I want you to give a small message to our audience on relationship.
I would first thing say is that the first judgment is not to judge anyone. We know very little about the struggles they are going through. And everybody has a lot of beautiful things. Let's focus on that. And if the situation is such that you can't carry on with a person or a group, give it a beautiful turn before ending. Whenever the person remembers you, brings a smile on that person's face. So अगर कहानी को अंत ही करना है तो खूबसूरत मोड़ पे कीजिए. प्रेफर कीजिए एंड नहीं करना पड़े, बट इफ दैट्स द ओनली ऑप्शन, डू इट ऑन अ ब्यूटीफुल नोट एंड दैट्स इट. बी हैप्पी, स्टे हैप्पी.
So beautiful, and it's really a heart-touching statement at the end. If we have to end any relationship, we should end up in a positive note.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
So thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
So friends, I trust you love this episode. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.